How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks to you too.
You're the one that did all the great work.
Yeah, you rocked it.
It was awesome. It is awesome. It's not over.
Oh, so
Yeah, so this is just not like an exit interview, but we just kind of want to kind of capture like some of your successes and stuff like that, if that's okay. So tell us your name, where are you from? Why'd you come to see us?
Tina Alleman. I currently live in Somerville, originally from Illinois. I had been a patient of yours for several years and saw this email pop up in my inbox saying something to the effect like a lose 5 pound, stop chasing the weight, lose 5 pound challenge. And it really spoke to me because I had been chasing that 5 pounds, for several years and just was very disappointed in myself and frustrated, knew that I could do better. But I had, of course, like everybody else in social media, you see all these products and programs in your feed and you just don't know what to believe. But when it came from you two, I had worked with you before, been your patient. I knew I could trust you. So that had me hooked. And so I did the 5 pound challenge. I think I lost 4 pounds that week, just not even making all the changes, but some of the changes. And so I saw that success and I knew I had to continue with the metabolic reset.
very good.
That's fantastic.
What had you tried in the past, Tina, that just didn't seem to stick and work?
I dabbled with keto. I dabbled with, just cutting carbs, and that had worked to some success, but I'd always been an active person and loved to exercise. And, that had always been my go-to weight management. So I could always have a cheat meal or this or that because I was going to do a long run the next day. And those things, as I've gotten older, just weren't as effective. So life had just hit, things age, schedules and that kind of thing. And just what had worked before didn't. And it was very difficult to choose because you see so much out there and you see the testimonials and, I work in marketing, so I know how that's done. And, there are some people, who would report great success, but I just didn't know what to believe. And I didn't want to rely on pills and that kind of thing. To me, that was, the unhealthy way to go through diet pills and that type of thing. So I knew if it came from Dr. Jeremiah and Tiffany that it was good.
That is awesome.
That makes my heart happy, Tina.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So like what inspired you, the most to make this change?
Just a second. I have to let a dog out. I'm sorry.
no worries.
He'll bark if I don't. They've been quiet all morning. I'm sorry. Do you need me to start over or?
No.
Okay. I'm sorry, what was the question?
So what inspired you to actually to make the change, to do this? Was there any like?
I knew I could feel better.
Yeah.
I knew I could feel healthier. Of course, weight, my clothes didn't fit. And, that's a huge motivation. But as you have taught me all these years, everything is so connected. And so I knew that if I could get my health in check, I could feel better, that the weight would follow and that would just be a natural progression because it's all tied together. I had been a caregiver for my parents for 7 years, and I saw my dad go through leukemia and pass away. And then shortly after that, my mom was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia and Alzheimer's. And I know that those types of things now run in my family. And I just really want to be able to take care of myself so that, if I'm facing some of those challenges in my future, that I'm doing everything I can to be certain that I'm controlling things or taking care of myself to where I'm prepared to handle, whatever, the future holds. But in the course of doing all that caregiving, I had let myself go, just like you probably hear a million times. You know, it's just so easy with the schedule and such, and just making choices on the fly when it came to food and grabbing things here and there. And it was just a downward progression.
Yeah, that's just stress on top of stress on top of stress. Yeah, that's amazing foresight, though, you know, to be able to, you know, to watch something like that happen and be able to take that and make yourself stronger as a result. That's really awesome.
That's a great way to turn a negative into a, you know, a positive for you going forward, you know, a learning experience.
Were there any unexpected benefits of joining the program?
Oh, too many to list. You know, I knew, you know, the metabolic reset, you know, as I had aged and reached menopause and I got the manny belly or whatever they call that, and I'd never had a stomach before, you know, never, you know, really had to work too hard at it. But, you know, as the weight started coming off, of course, the clothes started fitting and that kind of thing. But I realized early on into it that it was more holistic healing for me. Of course, physical, but spiritually and mentally, I, you know, just went into it wholeheartedly and realized those other benefits as well. My focus and sleep, I've been, you know, addressing those types of things and following your tips. And it really has been a holistic healing process for me. And I just can't thank you guys enough, because it just has really changed my life.
Well, you really took the advice of journaling and gratitude and mindset and ran with it. Like those were really pivotal things for you in the program, I think, from the way you've expressed it over the course of the program.
Definitely. I'm a note taker and a planner. And so it was just a natural thing for me to, and I'm still journaling and still carrying those things on. And of course, you guys couldn't see it, but during our weekly Facebook Live, your presentations, I'd get that journal out and take notes, because they were just so full of information and things I could look up later on. And I refer to that even yet, and still am following things, even though I'm, you know, beyond the reset portion of the program. But, you know, it just, there's so much information you all provided. And, you know, what was so great, and another benefit was, you know, to me, you two have always been like this epitome of health. And, you know, I was able to see what works for you and kind of take a peek into your lifestyle and how you live it. And, you know, there's no better testimony than that. You know, you go to a gym and you know, work with a trainer, and, you know, you just kind of look at them and like, you know, they really don't live it, but, you know, you can tell you two do. And I think that was, you know, yet another selling point and another benefit. You know, gave advice on the food end of things, the diet end of things, but then all that value added information about sunlight being important and the vagus nerve. And I just learned so much from you.
Well, that's one of our big components, is we want to educate people so that they can then, you know, in turn find a love of it themselves and find ways that they can go deeper and deeper into it, outside of just, you know, our health is more than just calories in, calories out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. Yeah.
I'm glad you got all that takeaway, because I mean that's huge to us.
That's why I wake up in the morning.
Well, you should know we're out there listening, so it's very important and instrumental and life changing.
Well, one thing I have found to be pretty universally true is that you can debate, you know, different topics and things, but you can't really debate somebody's experience. So I value mine and Jeremiah's life experiences and our trials and tribulations through getting to a healthier lifestyle, because if we experience it, other people are going to experience it on their journey as well. And, you know, our experience is our experience, and it's not really debatable. It's not, you know, it's just a progression, and, you know, people can learn from that. So I like that takeaway.
Yes. What would you say to somebody that's thinking about joining the program and they're on the fence? What would you tell them?
Well, get off the fence and join. You know, it's a no-brainer, at least on this side of things, and it was a no-brainer for me on the other side of things. And you know, and that a lot of that comes from having had a relationship with you in the past, you know, as a patient. So you know, that made it a no-brainer for me. You know, I won't lie, it's work. At least it was for me, because I did have a lot of changes I needed to make, but it became fun in a lot of ways to try new recipes and to experiment with things, and even yet, like, okay, if I add this to my diet, you know, what kind of effect is that going to have? How am I going to feel? And so it's been really empowering in that sense, that I can, you know, tweak and make changes as needed. But I would, you know, join. And again, I think the weight loss is the hook for a lot of people. It was for me, but then those added benefits actually outweigh, no pun intended, but they, you know, those benefits really, the added benefits really do overpower, I think, the weight loss benefits. You know, we're talking overall health, and that is so important.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, a lot of people would find us due to needing to lose weight to feel better, but in turn, doing the reset is really a lifestyle adjustment, and it shows you a different path to health. So,
yeah. No, that was awesome. Thank you.
It was such a pleasure having you in the group.
Well, I'm not like commenting as much or whatever, but I'm still watching and learning, and I'll plug in. You know, my schedule this week's been kind of crazy, but yeah, everybody I see now is like, what have you done? So I'm your biggest proponent out there. So hopefully you'll get some referrals.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, it was fun to watch you on your journey, because yours, you know, you also are athletic. So you kind of, were you able to increase or improve any of your, you know, things that you track or do?
I think in the reset program itself, that was the hardest thing for me, was to give that up for a while, you know, the intensity. But thankfully we had the joyful movement, and that really was a blessing, because it forced me to slow down. And I mean, I had, you know, aches and pains and things like that. So I was healing too. And so what I ended up doing is I found my joyful movement, and that ended up, I got a mountain bike and just told myself, okay, I'm not going to exceed this certain speed, and I'm gonna go out and ride, you know, the trails. And it gave me time for reflection and prayer, and I listened to some great podcasts, and, you know, it was just a really great time to heal. And then after that was over and we could start upping up our intensity, you know, I've been running and biking more seriously, and swimming more seriously again, but you know, just easing into it, because I know I don't need that for weight management, you know, and so I can really enjoy it more now. I ran in the rain this morning. It was awesome.
It's nice to bring back that element of enjoyment to exercise, because I mean, you know, it shouldn't be about going in there and trying to murder the weight off of you. Yeah. It should be about doing something that brings you that joy, and that, you know, and that's going to be more fulfilling and better for you long term than killing it in the gym 4 days a week.
I agree.
Well, you rocked it, Tina. You continue to.
Absolutely.
And stay in the group.
Yep.
I will. And if there's anything I can do, if somebody, you know, wants to call me or whatever, I mean, whatever I can do to help you guys and, you know, pass the word on, because I really do believe in what you've done for me, and very grateful.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're grateful for you.
Yes, thank you for everything.
I'm glad to have been on that journey with you, Tina.
Thank you.
Stay in the group. Keep your eyes peeled, because we do still the Facebook Lives every week, and things will come up, you know, new things.
There's going to be new stuff coming down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm watching. I have staff meetings at the same time, but I always go back and watch them. And if you see the views pump up, it's probably because I've watched it a couple of times, because they're so full of info.
All right, Tina. Well, have a great weekend.
Okay, thank you. You too.